Uh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction of myself. And there is a story that he did not tell, and I did not put it in the slide. That is, I joined State Engineering Corporation, dreaming to become the general manager of this corporation. I finished this free trade zone. Okay, yeah, I finished this free trade zone, and I was asked to take over a project in Anamatu, where I have to make papaya and siripa. So I hide my pride and completed. But then I decided, okay, this is not the place for me to practice my engineering. I left the country. Right. That's my project. And let me show you a few projects that I have done already in Saudi Arabia. This is Maldives Airport project. Design development of this Maldives Airport project was done, led by me and by my team. And this is Kuala Lumpur International Airport. The construction was done by me, leading the team from Saudi Bin Laden Group. This is Dubai Sports Complex. And this was also led by me as a project manager with my team. This is Putrajaya Mosque. After completing the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, Bin Laden donated some money out of the profits from that project. And the Malaysian government told him, okay, you build this mosque also, we will give you the balance money. And this is VMP hospital. This was built for the King Fahad. And this hospital and this car park was done by us as project manager and my team. And this is the palace for the ruler of Dubai. That was again constructed by Bin Laden Group, and I was the project manager to lead and complete. This is King Saud University, the sports arena project, which I am going to explain to you in this presentation. This is Bird Views, 3 towers built in this Dubai, and this also I have a big story here. But when the time permits, I will give you that information as well. Okay, finally, we come to the principles-based project management of EPC Turnkey contracts. Right. Applying principle-based project management in the design development, direct and manage construction of King Saud University Sports Arena, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Let me go back to the basics first. Engineering is a science and art. Science, you should read when you are studying in the university or any academy. Then you come to the industry, and there are industry standards that you have to follow. Industry standards you cannot be taught in the university. You should be guided by your senior engineers. Nihal, I had 3 chartered engineers guiding me to do my job. And they told me which standard to refer, which manual to refer. I had all the support in State Engineering Corporation. But the senior engineers, senior project managers, we should do to our juniors as well. So I'll come to that. Now look at this. British standards. I use it for structural design of concrete buildings. BS 6399 that are used for taking the recommended loads on buildings. For example, if I am designing a residential building in Sri Lanka, I take line load of a floor as 1.5 kilonewton per meter square. If I go to Dubai and design a similar residential building, I still use the same. If I go to UK, I still use 1.5. Why? BS 8110 and this BS 6399 are global standards. Wherever you go, you use the same. So you should know where to refer. Now, similarly, American standard ACI 318 is also giving the guidance to the engineers to do the structural design of buildings based on American standard. Only difference is that research Britishers have done one way, Americans have done another way. But end of the day, it is science. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Whether you use British standard or American standard, it doesn't make any difference. Right? Why I am saying all these things? Not only standards, there are manuals, there are handbooks that are being published by these professional organizations to the engineers to refer them and make a professional practice. It's up to you. Now, similarly, now this manual for the design of concrete buildings structures, I am using it just to check my output coming from the computer by doing a hand calculation. Why? I'm not saying I'm not trusting the computer, but if you put garbage in, you get garbage out. If the garbage came out, 10,000, 15,000 people will die. Your building will come down. That's the responsibility of a chartered agent. So this is why I am saying, if you want to make a professional practice, you better refer to the standards, manuals, guides. That is very, very important. Okay. Now let me come back to the project management. Project management is also science and art. You can read your science when you are in the university or any academic studies, and then you have standards. PMI Global Standard and see PMI 99001 2021. This is the project management standards for American standard for project. How many of you have read this? Raise your hand, please. Okay, so it's okay. But in addition to this PMI 99, you have another standard called earned value management. Now, if you look at the PMBOK guide, it says PMBOK guide 7th edition and the standard for project management. So there are two parts. One standard of the project management and the other one is guide. Now, which one is the standard, which one is the guide? That you should understand. I'll explain to you why I say that. Now, look, not only the standards, there are guides published by PM. Agile Practice Guide. How many people are practicing Agile methodology? How many of them have read that? This is the question. Then PMI Guide for Business Analysis. If you are a project management institute member, you just download. Why not use it? This is my point. Okay. Now, I put the standards for earned value management particularly and purpose. Because one day I was reading our WhatsApp group chats, and somebody asked help to understand what is earned value management. And someone quite rightly recommended him go and read the standard for earned value management. I saw some comments against it. I don't accept that. If you want to be a professional project manager, you better read these things and apply the practice. Because in my career, I have seen two types of project managers. One, that project manager is leading from the front. He guides his team to refer to these standards, guides, and make the practice professional. And chances of he succeeding is very much high. There's another type of project manager. What is he doing? He is running with the project. Project is running. He is dancing and running. In front of the management, he become a hero, but not in front of the client. So these are the two things that you have to differentiate. Are you going to become a project manager running with the project, or you go and run the project? This is very important. Anybody not referring to these standards and guides and the manuals running the project is running with the this is my opinion. Okay. American national standards. What is their mission? Mission is to enhance the global competitiveness of US business. What do you mean by that? If American National Standards Institute accredit any portion of the guide, it should be applicable to all the situations, all the industries, all the methodologies. Then only it will become a global standard. Now, what American National Standard Institute has done, he has accredited introduction part, system for value delivery, and project management principles, which I am going to explain. That's all. The rest of the thing is guide, introduction, project performance domains, tailoring, and models, methods, and artifacts. Now, this is only a guide because methodologies can be not with the standard. Methodologies is an individual preference. It cannot be a local, global standard. That is why American national standards have differentiated these two things. So, why I am telling all these things? Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about the project management body of knowledge version 7. Don't think the 6 is obsolete. No. That knowledge is very, very important for you to practice from Pinbox 7. It's a way of thinking has changed. Before, in Pinbox 6 and 5 and the previous versions, project management was based on processes. We were talking about initiation, planning, construction, monitoring and control, and closing. And after that, Pinbox 6 was telling if you want to complete a project, you should go through 10 knowledge areas. And to implement these 10 knowledge areas, you need 49 processes. Can you understand? Nowadays, Pinbox 7 is not saying, no, you don't have to do that. You selected the minimum number of processes that is required to deliver the value. They are not talking about the deliverables now. Value. I'll come to that. Now, so Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the government wanted to develop this King Saud University, and they provided the grant of 4 billion riyals. That's little more than $1 billion. Now, for that, they appointed a company called Saudi Consult. They are the consultants to advise the employer to get this tender distributed and get the competitive tenders and select a tender. For that, South Consult prepared performance specification. Performance specification. And they recommended the King Saud University to tender the project. Is contractor design. Now here the project is being designed with the contractor design. Now cost is fixed. Turnkey. That means contractor will do the engineering part, he will do the procurement part, he will do the testing part, and he will do the construction part, and hand over the key to the employer. He will go and turn the key. This is the meaning of EPC Turnkey contract. And they recommended further to use FIDIC silver book. Remember the color silver. Then I will explain to you the next slide what it is. Now, FIDIC silver book, it transfers some risk of the project to the contract. Why? He's doing the engineering. He's doing the procurement. He will select what machine, what equipment that he has to use. And he will do the construction his own way. He doesn't have a consultant who advise do this, do that. So when you do that, the 100% risk is with the right. Now, the project Now, this EPC turnkey contract to complete the project within budget, within time, and to an acceptable quality. So, contractor agrees with the employer. I will do it to your price. I will do it to your time duration, and I will do it to the quality accepted based on the published standards. So, contractor is taking the 100% responsibility. That is why it says that FIDIC syllable. Now, Saudi Bin Laden Group, I'm sure that Bin Laden name is known to you. I hope. I'm sure. Osama Bin Laden, we have this Bin Laden is his brother, elder brother. He's a very shrewd, well-connected business. I was working with him for last 30 years, and I learned so many tricks from him, and tricks of the trade as well. He's himself an engineer. I'll show you some pictures. He comes to every project. You will see what it is. He will not sit in his office. Let's discuss this. Yes. He appointed consultant by his phone to do this design. He appointed Scott Wilson and Partners from UK and Bureau Hackle as engineer. So they were asked to sit with the employer, employers, stakeholders, and develop the design based on the requirements and the performance specification. Right. They developed this sketch. Inner view is like this, outer view is like this, and it has a 145 meter span. So 145 meters, 10 times of this, nothing more than that. I did not measure that. And they have 50-meter radius. So you are creating a space of 145 meter long, 100-meter wide with no support in between. That is itself a challenge. Right. Now, performance specification. What does the pin box says? Requirements should be measurable. If you give requirements, it should be measurable. They gave the measurable requirements. This is the consultant of the employee. They said we need a team 200 meter running. Not only that, they say all sports playing areas and line marking shall comply with sports governing body specified requirements. What is the sports governing body? IAAF. What is IAAF? International Amateur Athletic Federation. What they do? They prepare the scientific information for you to use. They say radius is this much, this is the space, every specification they are giving. So contractor has to use his engineer to do that design according to that. Not only that, the performance requirements is permanent seating 6,700 around the track. So the architect knows how to distribute these seats. And they say space for temporary seating 2,700 in the middle. They want also. Much as well. Like that, they give the measurable requirements. So I'm not going to explain everything. So this is what the meaning of performance specification. Now, type of contracting vehicle depends on sales. It depends on size of the purchase. It depends on the standard of the work. It depends on the risk tolerance of the organization. This is clause 2.5.6.2 of Premachandra 7. If you read it, you will find this. Look, this is written. If I'm doing structural design, I give all the clauses. From where I start this? If I'm sending a letter to a contractor, I will give you the clause. Pursuant to clause so and so, you are violating X, Y, Z, and you are being penalized. You should have that practice. I come from state engineering. And when I go to Middle East, people say, oh, this guy has a but it is the correct professional way of doing. So you must also practice this to know what is the clause. If you go to a meeting and say, according to clause so and so, you cannot do that. Somebody will appreciate it. This guy is talking sense. Right. Eventually, parties reach agreement and enter contract. FIDIC model contracts, vehicle to sign agreement. It distributes the risk between parties fairly. What does it mean? It means it distributes the risk to the party who can control that risk. Give you an example. When I was in Maldives airport, one Indian pilot came and landed his flight on the construction runway. Am I responsible for that? No. I have a safety protocol. I have done that safety protocol. If he comes and lands it has to be dealt by the employer. He must have an insurance, home insurance company to transfer that risk. This is what the FIDIC says. I hope you got the idea. Party who can control it. For example, you have rights, so whether you also what right is in Sri Lanka, and the contractor is responsible for that. No. Employer should take that responsibility. So this is what the FIDIC says. FIDIC publishes and improves this standard since 1960. They have taken FIDIC to the courts. They have argued so many things. They have refined it now. You don't have to worry. Just take it and use it if you're bold enough in Sri Lanka. Each color code of FIDIC represents the country. We'll show you what is the color code business as well. Right. Now, this says purchase, I will explain this in the next slide. FIDIC book color selection criteria. Contract duration is less than 6 months and the value of the contract is less than 10 million US dollars, then you must use the FIDIC green book. If the work to be designed by employer, designed by the green employer's representative, FIDIC green book must be used. What the pin box says, if the scope is fixed, how? Employer is appointing a consultant to prepare the drawings, prepare the specification, prepare the quantities, prepare the BOQ. He must do his own engineer's estimate. So the contractor knows what he has to do. He doesn't have to worry. So that is what the box says. If the scope is fixed, then you should do it like this. So this is what PIMBOK doesn't say that you use FIDIC conditions of contract. No, this is the meaning. But this FIDIC Red Book has been sort of modified by multinational banks, FIDIC Pink Book, but that is just to alter some tender documents. And then you have the next condition is the work to be designed by the contractor and design contains plant and high unforeseen risks. Now here the contractor is designing the way. We take the 100% risk. Now just imagine this Norachore power plant. It's consisting of a lot of power plants, machineries and things like that. Look at that Ministry of Health, they supply MRI scanners. What is the condition that you need to check? Including maintenance or not? Why? If it is including maintenance, you should use the yellow book conditions of contract for plant and design build. Why? This particular conditions of contract says spare parts, the facility, and the contractor should provide annual maintenance contracts for the information to the employer so the employer can understand why he knows that I contact these people, come and do the maintenance work. What happened to MRI scanners? They said spare parts. No maintenance. Why you are crying? If you have this particular FIDIC conditions of contract use, you can sue them. Right. Next is FIDIC Gold Book. If there is no maintenance, why? Conditions of contract for plant, design, build, operate. This was published in 1995. Contractor is investing funds to do the project and he has to maintain this because he has to operate. Next, contractor design turnkey lump sum contract with minimal employer involvement. Then you must use the silver book. I hope now you understand why South Consult recommended to use silver book. because contractor has to take the 100% risk. Right. There is a small variation to this, and we did that variation also. That's why I included this. Discuss in detail the employee requirements to contract and negotiate modified contract. We negotiate the modified contract. Why? Because employer, King's House University did not want any material, machinery, or plant manufactured in China. So that was a condition. So if you say that condition, I have to go to US, France, UK, then the cost will go up. So we make an amendment and we agree. So this type of things you can do it because under general conditions of contract you have normal conditions, but there is a particular conditions of contract where you can modify these things. Right. Now, like PMBOK 7, even the FIDIC conditions of contract also based on the principles. First principle is duties, rights, obligations, roles, responsibilities, generally as implied in GCC, general conditions of contract. Don't try to change these conditions of contract. They have been refined very well. Next, particular conditions must be drafted clearly and unambiguous. Don't put the contractor in trouble by putting double meaning words in the particular conditions of contract. Because people are trying to do that. I have faced them. I'll explain to them. The next slide. Conditions must not change the balance of risk reward allocation provided in general conditions. It is risk reward allocation. If you read the FIDIC syllabus, you will find in any contract, contractor should provide 10% value of the contract sum as a performance guarantee from the bank. In addition to that, FIDIC syllabus says not only that 10%, we need company director's guarantee to assure your performance on the project. What happens? If 10% is not enough, employer can sell that company, take all that money. So this is FIDIC syllabus. Not only that, FIDIC syllabus says from the other side. Other side he says, employer should provide a bank guarantee to the contractor, assuring that he will get paid according to his cash flow requirements. Further it says, contractor has the right to request from the employer indicating to show his origin of funds. How he is going to fund this that is clause 2.4 of FIDIC syllabus. There was a project where it says delete clause 2.4. What does it mean? You cannot ask the employer, show me your funds before I start. No, that is the imbalance. You cannot do that. You can sue the contract or then. Okay, next. All time period specified in the contract perform the obligations must be reasonable. You cannot ask the contractor to finish in 6 months if it is taking 1 year. That's what we mean. Now, final one is very interesting. All formal disputes must be referred to a dispute adjudication board. Even marriage, we have irreparable differences. We do. We go to the courts. In this contract, no. You must appoint an experienced adjudicator to look into your grievances and differences. And adjudicator will adjudicate what is the decision. And if you are not accepting that decision of the adjudicator, then the courts, even if you go to the courts will make their decision based on the adjudicator's. So it's a fair. So what I'm trying to say, if you are practicing as a project manager in any part of the world, you should know your contract by heart. By heart. I have put people, there are a lot of cases. I will explain to you in the question and answer time. Now, principles of project management, we are coming. Now, that is given in the section 3 of PMBOK 7. First one, professional standards are often based principles. I told you, FIDIC is based on principle. Here, this PMBOK 7 is based on principle. British standard, whatever that I referred, all based on principles. If you know the principles right, you can do anything. So that is what this time PMI has done. They have published very broad principles It can be applied to any project, any methodology, any industry. This is the beauty of it. Let's see one by one now. PMBOK 7 edition is also principle based, and past editions PMBOKs were based on that is initiation that I explained to you. But PMBOK 7 is based on 12 principles and any performance domains, group of related activities, critical, effective for delivery. Now, this is important. Any performance domains, I'm going to discuss this. These 8 performance domains, there is a new domain given in PMBOK 7 that is called uncertainty and ambiguity. This is the biggest problem that we have in managing domains. Now you have artificial intelligence, and you can use this artificial intelligence to manage this ambiguity and uncertainty to the required accuracy. I'll explain to you, not here, but there is one of the projects that I have am supporting, and where I have prepared the model based on the artificial intelligence and the regression analysis class Python. The global community has already embraced this. PMBOK 7. Don't wait. You start using it from tomorrow if you are doing a project. Now, these principles are very broad, and project teams can remain aligned with them easily. Now, this is the project. Initial planning, fire. My first. This is the reason. I was planning to bring the material from equipment from here, and I was planning to use some nets to access this place because I have to connect the cables from the top to the down, and I thought that I will use uh, tower crane, a mobile crane to complete this exercise, and I thought that I will use hydraulic jack from that cable, and I needed 2 more cables to be put like this, and finally we thought that we will use these pens as strips and fix it on the cables. But this backfired. One, we were planning to keep all the lights fixed on this particular ridge truss and the ring truss. My electrical engineer said, no, I need some light fittings coming on this cable also. Cable is a flexible structure. So we immediately asked the structural engineer to calculate and tell us what is the deflection. He said 500 millimeters. Electrical engineer says, no way. You have to change this rule. So next project management principle is this. Enable change to achieve the envisioned future. Because your future going to be rigid roof, not a flexible roof. But we had, this is the clause 3.12, which case enable change. To enable change, this change can originate so external influence. This is an internal influence. And this Saudi is very fond of this pen because they want under the fence. So they wanted them to be reflected by this Scott Wilson and partners. They did the job. But my electrical engineer says because the lux level means you have some lux here, there should be certain lux levels to have an arena for the sports events. He says, I cannot give that lux level if you don't put these cables here. What to do? Now we have to change. I told my fellow people, okay, let's please have methodology or adaptable mind, have some resilience. So this is the next project management principle that we are going to discuss. Create a collaborative project environment. Your team must get together. Now you are in a crisis because you find this flexible roof is not enough, so you must put a rigid roof. Your load will increase. If the load will increase, you have already cast the foundation. Am I going to break the foundation? No, I must find a solution. Now, this is the point that we have to say create collaborative team environment. Because projects are delivered by the teams, team is formed by individuals working collaboratively. Team with diverse skills, knowledge, and experience is a must. If that electrical engineer did not raise the flag, maybe I'm no more. This is Saudi Arabia. They can cut my neck and send me home. So such a situation, we were really scared. But you have to find a solution. Team members must be proactive and innovative. Team must review, discuss, and adapt these things. This is the point. I was on vacation at that time in Sri Lanka. I was attending one of the seminars in IES. One company called B.Sc, they were introducing structural reinforcement of yield strength of 500 Newton per millimeter. I had some questions with them. I realized, yes, the material is available. Then, when the discussion was happening about this case, I told my colleagues, guys, nothing to worry. If Sri Lanka has such steel with 500 Newton per millimeter square, it should be available in America, Europe, or India. Let's search for that. So we searched for that, and we found this particular structural steel with 450 Newton per millimeter square is available in Luxembourg. So we have a problem. When we have a change, we have to get the change management process. So change management process is reviewed by a steering committee. Steering committee directly reporting to Bin Laden, not to me. So I have to support my case like this. How did I support it? You can see the equation here. This is again science. What is the stress means? Stress means force divided by area. If you take the area out, area equals force divided by stress. So if you increase the stress from 355 to 450, what happens to the cross-sectional area? It will reduce. If the cross-sectional area reduces, weight reduces. Then I don't have to break my foundation down. All what I have to do, go and find that steel. So Bin Laden called me and asked the case. And I said, yes, this happened, but I cannot blame anybody. It might cost us a little bit more, but we have to do it because we cannot compromise the performance. Because we have kept the Bin Laden group on the line. If you fail in your performance, they can sell your company and do the such a condition is given in the physics book. Right. But we develop the design. Under all that pressure, we developed this and showed to the client. He was more than happy. He was telling, no, Nihal, we don't need that pen. This is much, much better if you can execute to the same price. We agree. This is the next project management principle that I'm going to explain to you. Embrace adaptability and resilience. This is what that says. You must be prepared to embrace adaptability and the resilience. Adaptability is the ability to respond to the challenging conditions. We face situation and we can do it. Resilience is the ability to absorb impacts and to recover quickly from setbacks and failures. This is the project management principle that we have. Focus on value. That is the next project management principle that we are going to explain. Why? There is a monetary gain plus public good gain. In Singapore University has a stadium where you can have international sports events. That's a public good. When I was in Malaysia, Maldives, doing the design development of Maldives International Airport, we make sure, you know, that sea is rising. Maldives is sinking. We design the finished floor level in such a way, if the water level is rising, last Malaysian, Maldivian can jump into a boat, come to the airport, and escape. That's a public good. I'm sure the last man will thank God and me for doing that. Because when you deliver in the value, when I told this to the president of Maldives, President Amin, he like hell. Oh, we have thought of that. But it was there. But they were not aware. So you give public value, and value delivery is one of the major points in Springbok 7. Right. Right. Next, tailor the project based on the content. because I need the rigid roof. So I must elevate. This is the next project management principle that you have in clause 3.2. Tailoring the project based on unique context. It's unique context. And this is how we do this. We provided steel trusses and purlins to make it rigid. And the rest of the thing we did not change. 145 and 50 we remained. And when the assembled this particular truss, just imagine it is 9.6 meter high. The truss that is up there. The width of the truss is 3.5. So double decker can go inside the such a big one that we will install now. I'll come to the risk next. And then we have peripheral truss like this. And system thinking. This is very, very important. We read about bearing. Now what PMBOK says, recognize, evaluate, and respond system impact. You must understand how this group behaves. Then only you can respond. Then only you understand what is the risk. Now this is the biggest pot bearing that we have in the world, I must tell you. And it is 1.8 meter by 1.8 meter. This is how we install it on a sloping surface. Now what is the system thinking here? If the wind is flowing down, it will compress this portion here because this is a pot. This is the cover. And this is inside you have elastomeric rubber bearing. Now this, if the wind is coming from here, this will get compressed. If wind is coming from top, this will get compressed. This is the behavior. For that, you need a very small degree of rotation. That is 0.0025 radians. How much? It is 0.143 degrees. Such a small variation you got to take into consideration based on this system thinking. Otherwise, you cannot do this. Now, how did I do that? How do I understand what a risk that I am taking? This is how I understand. In Sri Lanka, two-story building has a foundation of 4 feet by 4 feet. You agree with me? The bearing capacity of soil, sand, is 100 ton per meter square. So 1,800 ton load is 18,000 kilograms. So I divided 18,000 by 2 to consider the 2 stories, 1.2 the length of the foundation, 1.2 width of the foundation, divided by 100, that is the bearing capacity, and I get a number called 62. What does it mean? You are applying a force of a 62-story building. So this is how I understood the gravity of the problem. If it is 62-story building, I know this is something dangerous. I have to take all the precautions. What is the precaution? This is that precaution. When the material was delivered, all the people, now this is QA/QC manager, this is the procurement manager, this is the site engineer, this is the construction manager, this is the architect, I think this is me, and there's some more people. Everybody come and inspect. Everybody knows this. People stare so much. So that everybody will look into it. Because I know the problem here. What is the problem? You have to install it on a sloping surface like this. Not only that, see what I am doing. I am doing a very primitive way of checking the slope. Why? This is the system thinking. The reason is, if there is a theta, an error of the slope by theta, the axial force is 1800 cos theta. You understand that? Lateral load will be 1800 sin theta. How much is this sin theta? If the theta is 1 degree, 1000 cos theta is 1799. 1800 becoming 1709. You can tolerate. What happened to the other side? Sorry, I got. What happened to the other side? 1800 cos theta, 31 tons. 31 tons. What is 31? Tell me, what is the weight of the Sri Lankan elephant? 5 tons. 31 tons means 6 elephants sitting on top of that. So if that is the case, all this ball will go. So if I don't check this, if I don't adapt my team, please take care. So this is the system thinking that Team Box 7 is talking. Optimize the risk response. You know that. If there is an opportunity, you exploit. If there is a big risk, you avoid. Now here, I try to exploit the opportunity as well as reduce the risk. Because I have to lift about 165 tons of steel. I cannot lift it one by one time. I divide it into 7. And then I have to lift this first element, which is 49 tons. Airbus 220, 300 aircraft. So I have to imagine now I am going to lift such a big object. So if I have that situation, I must be very careful. Why? I must plan it very well. If I make a mistake, everything will come down because that 400-ton crane is monster. And if you make a mistake in your calculation, you are in 6. This is what happened. I failed here also. I am explaining to you now. We did all the preparation. We know that the element is here, the crane is here. So from that, we can calculate what is the lifting radius. Based on that, we calculate whether we can lift this. Now, in the main literature, they say you use only 75% efficiency. Why minus 25 for what? If there is anything happens, then 25% will take care. I did this calculation and I was expecting that will come like this, like this. Look what happened. Navigate complexity. This is the next project management principle, clause 3.9. And okay, I understand the project complexity very well. I explained to you about elephant's business. Okay, develop strategies to manage it. Yes, I had a strategy. Break the project into smaller parts. Yes, I did. Feedings are separately, support separately, segment separately. Yes, but I made a mistake here. Communicate effectively with stakeholders. Because that crane operator is an Indian and we hired. Nobody take care of it. We planned everything, we did everything. That poor Indian was left behind. Let's see what happens here. Now you can see the small video. Two hot bearings and ring beam is installed. Temporary supports installed. Everything is ready. It's a matter of installing the segments. But we failed. That is effectively engage with stakeholders. We did not do. That is the next project management principle that is given in Team Box 7. Because you plan everything ahead, select the capacity of the crane to 49 tons, determine the radius considering 75%, mark the crane location on the ground and the segment location also. Crane location and segment 1 location were verified before lifting, whether it is right. Still, end of the segment 1 is not reaching the pot bearing. Look at this video. We are failing, we are falling short of our expectations. We end up having 49 tons of loads on the air. You know, once you consider it's 5 tons, here we have 10 elephants hanging from the crane. There is now 2 meters to go. I made a mistake by not talking to that operator poor because I was a big guy. I'm stupid. I should have spoken to him. At least my subordinates, they did not, because it's a stupid. Sorry on my language, because that is what we think. No, don't neglect your stakeholders at all, however small. So we have not effectively engaged with the important stakeholders. People are waiting to receive that engine. The importance of engaging the stakeholders effectively. Stakeholders influence project performance and outcomes. Project teams serve other stakeholders by engaging. Stakeholder can influence the outcome positively or negatively. Here, he is influencing a negative. Crane operator is a stakeholder in our operation, but my team neglected him. Published literature recommends to use only 75% efficiency. I told you why. But poor crane operator plays safe by setting lifting capacity to 65. Because he knows I'm lifting 10 elephants. I'm taking the risk. Why the hell nobody is taking care of me? I will also play safe. He played safe, and my job was in a 6. So, since he kept it 65%, the lifting radius did not match. Now you have to demonstrate your leadership. You are having 10 elephants there. This is what happened there. This is clause 3.6 of project management principles. Now the crane operator is holding 49 tons load. It is like you having 10 elephants in the air. The joints with friction with bolts. Yes, all the joints fixed with the tension force. That is what the friction with bolt. If I could have put the segment ground and adjust the crane efficiency to 75% and relift it. I didn't want to do that. Why? If I bring 50 tons down and hit the ground, section will go. Because that tensile force is important for friction. So I didn't do that. Unloading the segment and lifting is not an option. Talk to the operator to move the crane slowly 2 meters. He said, yes, I can do it because I have 25% more efficiency remaining. Provided you take care of the ground so that it will not sink because you are moving now 50 tons. Ground should not settle. If ground settles, whole thing will collapse. What I did, I called the workshop manager, asked him to bring 16 millimeter thick steel plates, put it over. I asked him, okay, now move. Because I avoided that risk by putting these plates. And he moved. Finally, we fixed the segment. Leadership comprises the attitude, talent, and persuade. You should be able to persuade your people when you are in trouble. If you are failing that, you are not a good leader. Leadership is influencing, not imposing authority. Bin Laden is nothing now. You are in trouble. You have to convince your subordinates to move forward. March your troops. Next, build quality into the process and deliverables. This is the next project that we are going to discuss. Testing in installment. Because you can build the confidence of your employer if you do the test and give him the results that you are complying with the performance. It's very important. Every submitter, you must say that you studied the literature and guarantee the performance. Every submitter. So we had to prove that this particular pod bearing can take 1800 ton load with a 1 millimeter deformation. 1 millimeter deformation is very small. We tested and it was passing. And this is the structural engineer from the employer, and this is my structural engineer. They agreed the cystostom is okay, so we installed that. Here are the welders. Welders, we tested them before giving the welding sign. Why? If there is a cavity or anything inside the weld, that will break because you are putting 62 stories on top of that building. So this is the testing that we have done for the building. And bolt tightening top, I was talking to you. This is the equipment that we use to give the tension. Welding inspection, I myself inspect for these things. And then wind pressure test that we carried out to ensure the plants are fixed. But this is very important that you carry out quality testing of your products before you hand it over. So this is the next project management principle. Optimize risk responses stewardship. Optimize risk responses is this. While we were installing the segment was going here and there. So it was a risk. So how to them know when you fix 2 segments, you fix lateral trusses also, so that the movement is minimized. So there's a risk of moving the segments laterally. I avoided that with this trick of installing the lateral trusses. What happens when you install lateral trusses? It fast track your installation. So there was an opportunity, there was a risk. From that, I created this optimize the risk. This is the optimization risk, is that. And then stewardship, this is also very important. Be a delicate, respectful, and caring steward. Now, these guys came from the previous project. They're very young and they want to learn. I take them, people, those who are keen to learn. It is very easy to train. If you are not keen to learn, they will not listen. As a children, you should guide. I should give them a hand. Whenever they complete such tasks, I go to them. I congratulate them. I encourage them. I give them a part. This is what box. So this is stewardship. Stewards must behave and ethically. Stewards serve as a role models, building trust among the team. They should allow others to raise concerns without your fear of retribution, because that electrical engineer, if he did not raise the, that means right. Stewardship requires leadership with transparency and trustworthiness. Yes, they do the correct relationship. So they like to work with me because they can grow with me. Because it's difficult. Not everybody can access Binna. Now, this I just showed you one incident where they issue an NCR, non-conformance report, saying that I'm not applying the fireproof paint to the whole roof. They apply only to the portion that is required. That is how I defend. I defend with the standard. NFPA 5000 clause so and so says you want fireproof only the portion which is within 6.1 meters of a hand of the highest elevation. If a man goes there with a fire, then only it can catch. I don't have to fireproof any steel which is far away more than 6.1. So by that I defended that also, and we finished the project. I hope this will give you some good understanding. You have to answer any of your questions. Please, floor is yours. Thank you. If you don't have questions, I have some answers. Because I gave my son is a project manager, so I gave it to him first. He asked so many questions, so I have all them. If you want to ask questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nihal, Premachandra, for that insightful presentation with so much of expertise around the world. Now it's time to ask questions from the audience.
Thank you very much. So regarding the specification side, you mentioned, so during the contractual, especially when you're going to call and everything, especially in the engineering, procurement, and contracting, I think it's going on in depth, deeper. So when there's a tender going on, a subcontract going on, and they're asking self-references and everything. So and negotiating also you're going to depth.
Yes.
Can you elaborate any experience that how especially the subcontractors then they are negotiating with the terms and process and engineering contracts. So they are also not understanding, and they try to take a round with you.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with this kind of a typical situation?
It's a very valid question. Very valid question. My trick is I don't hide my contract conditions to anyone. My team, my subcontractors, everybody. When I draft the subcontract agreement, general conditions of contract is a part of the subcontract. Well, I just have to refer FIDIC syllabus. FIDIC syllabus is a published document. Everybody can read. Then they can hire a lawyer, somebody to understand. Of course, when they come with the tricks, contractor always wants to make money. He find many ways. But FIDIC syllabus has been very fair to both contractor and the employer. So there is no issue as long as you are acting transparent. If you hide, well, then it is a different story. Of course, I have a policy. I tell all my engineers, all my subcontractors, don't tell a lie to your doctor or proctor. If you tell me the truth, I will tell you the solution also. Because it is my benefit. If you benefit, then I benefit. I don't run down any subcontractors at all. I support them. If they don't understand any condition in that, I will explain them. This is, as a professional engineer, you should do it. Professional project manager should do it. I hope it answers it. Anything else? Yeah. Well,
Yes, regarding this construction domain, but we do something that is management maybe.
yeah.
So, something common that we come across is that we know how much buffer we keep, how much, let's say, we use certain tools to come across. There are certain delays that are unavoidable. Even maybe that might be due to agreement signing, or maybe that might be due to a client's problem also. But there is a delay that sometimes we often come across in project deliveries. Yeah, we would actually get a common claim that it's ours sometimes, even though it's obvious that it's not us. We do micro budget management as a we use tools, not AI per se, but based on the experience and the knowledge and the relationship with the clients, we make sure that we keep buffers and well. But sometimes it's hard to avoid any delays that is probably that happens. So based on your experience, do you can give us some tips?
I was telling you about this uncertainty performance domain.
Uncertainty is always there when you calculate time and cost. So what do? You monitor it. To monitor it, you have two ways. I don't know whether you have used this or not. There is a probability curve called bell curve, by which you can say, yes, this project will be completed by this time at this cost. The probability is this. In fact, Bin Laden very much like this. I was using this in 2008. Since 2008, I was using the bell curve. Bell curve, I will explain that in another presentation if I get the chance from him. And that is the importance. Now, bell curve is a normal distributed curve from which you can derive, but that is also not accurate. Now, what I am doing, I leave away with the bell curve. The Pinbox 7 is giving to the opportunity to prepare a model, methods and artifacts. This is Pinbox 7, you read it. And then I have developed a model where I use the artificial intelligence. There is an algorithm. He will track my inputs. I give the progress this one, this one, this one. He will predict, oh, it will happen like this. That way, you can do an accurate prediction. It is not 100% accurate, but you can come close to it. Learn data analytics. Learn regression analysis. If you can study Python, do it. I will support you guys if you are doing it because I need people. So do that. Data analytics is very much important. It can be answered very accurately. Why Bin Laden likes me? One reason is this. I give you the probability. Then I will give the reasons why I cannot complete the balance of people. You see, there are many planning engineers. They come to the meeting, they waste your time by narrating project progress. They take 1 hour of the meeting. They say this much is progress in this year, previous progress in this month. What is the use of? you must highlight why I cannot finish the project, what actions I should take. For that, you must use bare color art. Anything else? This is used.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nihal Premachandra, and all the audience who asked questions. So now that we have come to the end of the session, and let me invite Mr. Saman Tangarashti, the President of Young Minds Sri Lanka chapter, to give some special announcements about things happening.
Thank you, Lenny. So just another announcement. We have thank you, Premachandra, about that in-depth your experience sharing. We have our event annual conference, the Young Project Management Conference, and the award ceremony, 31st May 2023, 2024. So one important message is we are also doing the award ceremony. So we will share the project awards document by most probably mid of March or mid of March. So your organization can submit awards application for the awards. So we are going to also have a kind of a press meeting most probably March March 13th or 14th will exact dates will announce. So I think a lot of companies like airport and Sambar Bank, the last time also you are right. So please apply for the awards for the last year for the previous year criteria. So let me invite Annie to go ahead with the vote of thanks and conclude. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Saman. As we now come to the end of the session, let me invite Chandima India, ABP Marketing, to do your vote of thanks. Over to you, Chandima. Thanks, Ravi. Good afternoon to all. It's a great honor and pleasure and privilege for me to deliver the thank you note here in this valuable session organized by the Project Management Institute of Sri Lanka chapter. First, I would like to thank today's keynote speaker, Engineer Nihal Premachandra, who despite his busy schedule, managed to accept the request of PMISL and here today with us and for us to give his knowledge and share his experience. Mr. Premachandra is a project management professional and chartered engineer possessing experience in design and construction of public buildings, swimming pool, onshore oil field structures, and airports representing both consultant and contractor. So, Mr. Premachandra, you are the ideal person to aware us on principles-based project management of the EPC Turnkey project. Dear sir, you delivered an exceptional presentation at the event. Your insights and expertise made a significant impact to the project managers here, and we are grateful for your valuable contribution. Thank you again for sharing your knowledge and making our event a success. Also, I would like to express my gratitude to all the participants here for your presence at this late hour despite your commitments. Last but not least, thank you, Mrs. Kamal. Thank you, Mr. Aruna. Thank you, GAP HQ team, especially Reshita and Gaini, for all the support given to make this event a success. And I should express my heartfelt gratitude to Shivanti Katru, though she is not here due to her illness, but besides her illness, she made all the arrangements for this event to be a successful one. So one last time, I'd like to express my appreciation to everyone who worked on this event to make this event a success. So I think the refreshments are ready and we'll have a nice networking session. Thank you very much. Also, I invite you all to have a group picture with our keynote speaker and the Project Management Institute board members.
Okay, we can cover the process with
Sorry.